Welcome back, language adventurers. In this part of The Hobbit, Bilbo is getting more and more overwhelmed by all the visitors. And to be honest, I don't blame him. Let's see what new chaos the dwarves bring. And of course, we'll take a look at all the juicy new vocabulary too. Dwalin and Balin here already. I see, said Keely. Let us join the throng. Throng, thought Mr. Baggins. I don't like the sound of that. I really must sit down for a minute and collect my wits and have a drink. He had only just had a sip in the corner while the four dwarves sat round the table and talked about mines and gold and troubles with the goblins and the depredations of dragons and lots of other things which he did not understand and did not want to, for they sounded much too adventurous. When ding-dong-a-ling-dang, his bell rang again, as if some naughty little hobbit boy was trying to pull the handle off. "Someone at the door," he said, blinking. "Some four, I should say by the sound," said Philly. "Besides, we saw them coming along behind us in the distance." The poor little hobbit sat down in the hall and put his head in his hands and wondered what had happened and what was going to happen and whether they would all stay to supper. Then the bell rang again louder than ever, and he had to run to the door. It was not 4 after all, it was 5. Another dwarf had come along while he was wandering in the hall. All right, that was a fun bit from the story. But now let's slow down and take a closer look at some of the interesting words and phrases we just heard. When someone says, "let us," it's actually just a slightly more formal or polite way of saying let's. It means the speaker is suggesting that they and someone else do something together. So when Keely says, "let us join the throng," he's saying, "come on, let's go join the crowd." It sounds a bit old-fashioned, but it's still used sometimes to sound gentle or encouraging. A throng is just a fancy word for a large, tightly packed crowd of people. Imagine a concert or a busy market. People everywhere, shoulder to shoulder, moving and talking. That's a throng. It can feel exciting or overwhelming, depending on your mood. The word must is used when something is really necessary. Like, there's no option, you just have to do it. So when Bilbo says, "I really must sit down," it shows he's feeling overwhelmed and needs a moment. It's stronger than should and sounds more urgent or serious. Now, this is a fun phrase. When you say you need to collect your wits, you mean that you're feeling confused or surprised, and you need a moment to think clearly again. It's like saying, "Okay, brain, come back online." People often use it when they've been startled or stressed. Your wits are basically your mental sharpness, your cleverness, your ability to think quickly. If someone keeps their wits about them, it means they stay calm and think clearly, even in tricky situations. Losing your wits? That means you're panicking or overwhelmed. The word really is an intensifier. It just makes your sentence stronger. So when Bilbo says, "I really must sit down," he's not just saying he must sit, he's saying it's extra important for him to sit. We use really all the time in English when we want to emphasize something. A sip is when you drink just a little bit, tiny amounts, not a big gulp. Maybe your tea is hot or you just want to taste it. People often take a sip to relax, like Bilbo here, who's trying to calm down after all these unexpected visitors. When something or someone is in the corner, it means they're off to the side of the room where two walls meet. It's a quiet or hidden spot. In Bilbo's case, he's trying to stay out of the way, sitting quietly in the corner while the dwarves take over his space. Mines are places underground where people dig for things like gold, coal, or precious stones. They're dark, dangerous, and full of tunnels. In fantasy stories like The Hobbit, mines often have more than just treasure, sometimes monsters too. Gold is a shiny, yellow metal that's super valuable. People have chased after it for centuries. It's used to make coins, jewelry, and treasure chests in stories like this one. The dwarves in The Hobbit are especially interested in gold. It's part of their culture and history. Troubles just means problems or difficulties. It's a word that can describe anything from little annoyances to really serious issues. In this story, the dwarves are talking about big troubles, dangerous adventures, scary creatures, and lost treasure. Goblins are creatures from myths and fantasy. They're usually small, ugly, and kind of mean. In The Hobbit, they live underground and love to cause trouble. Think of them as the bad guys who enjoy making life harder for the heroes. This is a more formal and old-fashioned word. Depredations means attacks or destruction, especially the kind caused by enemies, robbers, or wild beasts. So when they talk about the depredations of dragons, they're talking about how dragons come in and ruin everything, stealing, burning, destroying. Naughty is a word we often use for children who are being a little bad. Not in a dangerous way, just in a mischievous or playful way. If a kid draws on the wall, we say they're being naughty. Here, it's kind of funny. Bilbo compares the dwarves to naughty little boys. This phrase means someone is pulling a handle really hard, maybe too hard. It sounds like the dwarves are being rough with the door, like they're in a hurry and almost breaking it. Poor Bilbo probably thinks they're going to rip the door right off. Blinking is when you quickly close and open your eyes. Everyone does it without thinking, but when someone blinks a lot suddenly, it usually means they're confused, surprised, or just waking up from a kind of shock. Bilbo is definitely surprised here. Besides is a linking word that we use to add more information or give another reason. It's like saying, and also, for example, I don't want to go to the party. Besides, I have homework. It helps you build your case or explain yourself better. When you see or hear something in the distance, it means it's far away. You're not close to it yet, but you can just barely notice it. Like when you hear thunder rumbling in the distance before the storm reaches you. Poor can mean someone doesn't have money, but it's also used to show sympathy, like you feel bad for them. When someone says, poor Bilbo, they mean, he's having a hard time, and they're being kind or a little dramatic. If you wonder about something, it means you're thinking about it, usually because you're curious or confused. Like, I wonder why the lights were off. It's a calm way of saying your mind is busy thinking things over. And that wraps up today's adventure. Every word you learn is a step deeper into the world of English. And into Middle-earth too. Remember, language is a journey, not a race, so take your time, have fun with it, and keep coming back. Bilbo didn't become a hero overnight, and neither will we. But with each episode, you're getting braver and better. See you next time, fellow adventurer.